Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and yeah, we're doing another seasonal championship. This one is called Totally Tubular! And yeah, we're in classic off-roaders from the 70s. So yeah, from the likes of the Ford Bronco for instance. So yeah, and we're getting there in a car that isn't an off-road hero, although has been an off-road hero on the Extreme Off-Road Sealer Build series, as this was, yeah, really rather quick.
400 yards. Turn left.
For what is a track car. So yeah, let's get there in something far faster than what we're going to be in on the seasonal championship, and yeah, see where we're going to be racing and the full roster of cars that we're going to be racing in. Right, so obviously we're up here for this one, and then we're further north for the next two. And yeah, like I said, got the Ford Bronco, so this is the most powerful car here with 205 horsepower. Not the biggest engine, actually it probably is the biggest engine at 4.95 litres V8. Then we've got the International Scout, which technically has the bigger engine as it's nearly 5 litres as well, but less power and less torque, and also more in the way of weight, so not quite as good. But and it pretty much looks exactly the same as well, now thinking about it, but yeah, still a fairly decent off-roader. Then the Jeep CJ5, which is easily the fastest accelerating car here, because I think it only has a 3-speed manual gearbox, so it gets through its gears quite quickly, and is more than able to make use of its 151 horsepower, because it doesn't actually weigh that much. And again, similar size engines to the previous two. Down a bit now, but still with a V8 at 3.5 litres, is the Range Rover, 135 horsepower, 185 pound-feet of torque, but as you can see, it is the heaviest here. Probably because it's also the more luxurious car as well. Then easily the slowest car here, which is one I'm not going to use because yeah, it is quite slow with its diesel engine. But yeah, classic in terms of getting you anywhere you want to go, but not particularly quick. And yeah, then the FJ40, which I've only just noticed has the same power as the Range Rover despite a completely different engine, 4.2 litre inline 6. Weighs less though and has more in the way of torque because it has a bigger engine, but yeah, it's also not particularly fast. So yeah, I think we're going to start off with the Range Rover, purely because it is a classic off-roader. It's a car that has, you know, made Land Rover as successful as it has, and this was the first of their luxury off-roaders compared to their more basic Land Rover Series 3s. So yeah, 50-50 weight distribution though, and it actually has better handling and braking than the Toyota there, despite being 6 years older. So yeah, let's see what this classic Range Rover can do. Was absolutely thrilled when they added this to the previous Forza Horizon game, I think it was. So yeah, and I'm glad it's again made a return. No, it's not a speed machine, and it's not going to thrill most people, but yeah, just the fact that we finally got a car with you know, the classic Rover V8 engine was a massive treat. And then they also brought out the Rover SD1 as well, which is a car I'm sorely missing on this game, quite frankly. Yeah, cross-country racing, this is going to deal well with the off-road stuff. Everything else we'll have to see. It does look like we're only up against FJ40s and fellow Range Rovers, so I think on the whole, even though the FJ40 is slightly quicker in terms of acceleration, that this is the better car in terms of overall being a better handling braking vehicle. Oh, we've got some classic Land Rovers as well. I've no doubt been slightly upgraded to be as quick as they are, because 69 horsepower is not all that much. Although 135 isn't exactly all that much either for a car of this weight. Down. Speed, come on. Yeah, these original Range Rovers and Land Rovers were about getting to your destination. Not fast, but they will get you there. Whereas nowadays, obviously, they're a lot quicker and a lot more performance orientated. 2 classic Range Rovers and a Land Rover up front. The Land Rover is surprisingly doing well. Can't even upgrade it that much, so no, that's still got its diesel engine. Quick way of solving a slow diesel engine car is stick a turbocharger on it and it will do the rest. As per usual, try and follow in the debris path of the person in front of you on these races, because it'll slow them down but it won't slow you down. Well, I'm going to be the one slowing down. And they're following in my path as well. Come on, nearly did 80 miles an hour there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be going this kind of speed around a circuit in one of these, because notorious for rolling over with relative ease, quite frankly. Do a big jump. Did not enjoy that at all. It kind of just stopped dead. But regardless, we are first place. So yeah, not a particularly exciting race, but a little bit tense in the fact that you're not sure where you're going to place with such slow vehicles. Yeah, the Series 3 there have been upgraded slightly higher than us, but obviously it was only PI 100 originally, so less than half what we were originally. So yeah, but nonetheless, 20 points is in the bag, so that's a good start to this championship. So let's move on to the second race. So yeah, we're going to get in something a bit more sprightly for this race. So yeah, we're going to get in the Ford Bronco. Apparently not quite as good in terms of handling or braking as the Range Rover, but then again, that doesn't really have the power to challenge its handling characteristics. But this is definitely quicker in acceleration and top speed. And it also has 70 extra horsepower, 115 extra pounds-feet of torque, and it weighs 55 pounds less. So yeah, categorically a more speedy vehicle. And yeah, it's actually a car that can actually break 100 miles an hour, whereas the original Range Rover could only do 95. So yeah, should be a definitely a quicker race. But whether or not it's going to be more challenging because it's quicker, I don't know. I always find slower cars a bit more challenging because you've got to keep up the momentum, keep up whatever speed you can get out of them. Whereas with something like this, yeah, you've got no real danger of only being able to go quite slow. There's the CJ5, which like I said has quicker acceleration than us, but doesn't seem to be able to handle. Way more varied race this time round. We've got the International Scout behind us, so the CJ5 before, got the classic Range Rovers, there's a Land Rover as well, Offroad or two, no, just the one, and obviously fellow Ford Broncos. It does surprise me that it took the Ford a long time to come out with a brand new modern version of one of these. One would have come out years ago, quite frankly, given the whole nostalgia renaissance cars, you know, like the Fiat 500, the Volkswagen Beetle, and the like. Surprises me that Toyota haven't brought out a new FJ40 either, or even just a new FJ. Oh, someone's had a massive crash back there. Landed on top of one another and rolled hysterically. That's pretty cool. Not often that you get to see driver cars have massive crashes like that. They're usually a little bit more perfect. This handles big jumps like that better than the Range Rover did. it. I like this banked bit, it reminds me of like a NASCAR circuit. Round we go. Got loads of speed on the way down. Have to plough us through the water, that is, at least, hopefully. Yeah, not that deep, thankfully. And crossing the finish line slightly quicker than the original top speed of the original Range Rover. So, yeah. Another win there, probably a little bit easier because we had that extra power than the previous race, but yeah, still fun enough. So let's get on to the third and final race and see if we can get another 20 points. Alright, so for this third and final race, got a bit of a decision between either the Jeep CJ5 Renegade or the Toyota FJ40. Now, thinking whole, I want to go for the CJ5. I know it's again another American car. We've only had, you know, one that isn't a non-American car so far. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit ambivalent. But yeah, this isn't by no means a quick car. It's a good off-roader, and it will get you to where you want to go. But just look at the difference in acceleration. Yeah, the handling is no worse on the CJ5. The braking is actually better, and the top speed is better as well, despite its small amount of gears. So yeah, we'll go for the CJ5. I know it's another American car, but to be fair, half of the cars that we can choose from are American. So yeah, and one of them in terms of its stock form is out of the picture, given how slow it is. So yeah, just the way it is sometimes. I wish there were more European and Japanese off-roaders from the 70s or 80s, but unfortunately we do not. Although we have had some in previous games, obviously like some of the Nissan Safari Turbo, which was in Forza Motorsport 7, so I'd really like that to make a return at some point. I find that actually pretty fun to drive around the Nürburgring, for instance, so yeah, which isn't something that most people would do with that car, but I enjoy doing that unusual vehicles at Nürburgring series, so that was one of my favourites to drive around there. So yeah, nonetheless, let's see what the CJ5 can do. Obviously, we weigh nothing in comparison to the other cars, as you can see, because we've got no roof, no doors, and yeah, it's very small in comparison to the other cars as well. Which isn't the case for newer Jeeps, because even two-door Jeeps nowadays look absolutely gigantic, whereas back in the 70s they were a lot smaller. I guess that's the case for a lot of cars nowadays. This handles the big jumps pretty well as well, probably the best of the three that we've used. Scout up front. This isn't the best handling car by any means, but still good enough. Lots of lean on a car that doesn't weigh very much. Speed. Oh dear. Hydroplaning there. Get the checkpoint. I think we got it. Because this car doesn't weigh very much and it was going quite quickly into that water, it was hydroplaning. And I think we're going to have to settle for second. The Scout has beaten us despite having less power. Come on! No! I think it had less power. If it didn't, it had more weight, that's for sure. But regardless, yeah, the CJ5 there, not giving us the win that we needed, and purely because it hydroplaned through that water to the point we had catastrophic understeer. So yeah, we had to go way wider. So yeah, but that regardless, we've still got the all important first place on the leaderboard overall in this championship. So that means we win it, we get the 5 points. You get a Reliant Supervan if that's something you really can't be bothered affording for yourself. for winning this championship, but the 5 points are more crucial, especially if you want to get the 180 points for the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR, is it? The race car from the 50s. So yeah, and obviously you need, I'm quite a way off in terms of those points. I think I've got another 80 points to get. So yeah, getting these 5 points is really rather crucial for getting that car, but also you can get the 5 points towards the current season as well. So you know, you can get the points towards the what was it? Oh, I can't remember now. There's a Toyota Terreno and something else or other to get for 20 points. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you with the next one. Bye.